welcome back to Mississauga, Ontario, as we roll on with the TSN Classic Bowl Championship. Randy Peterson alongside. Last week, if you missed it, well, you missed a very good qualifier as we start to fill out now the 5-person championship ladder. Ryan Seton and Robert Brace. It's the kind of game you'd like to see every week. There were great strikes, some super spares, breaks back and forth, until the very end, and Ryan Seton became our first qualifier.
Yeah, and Vic, I think what's happening is the players are starting to get more comfortable bowling on television, so they're starting to really step their game up. And it was never more evident than last week with Ryan when he made the big ball change in the 8th frame and then really performed and took advantage of a disastrous break when Robert Brace stepped up and threw that 7-10 split in the 10th frame. Ryan Seton took advantage of it, got up in the 10th, performed like a champion.
And that's something that the bowlers today will have to keep in mind. If you're going to make that change, make it quickly, make it decisively. Here are the games you'll see, and all these bowlers are very experienced. David Samar is a former champion on TSN. That's when we come back to Mississauga. Here we go on the 6th week of the TSN Classic Bowl Championship, and to get things going, David Samar, ranked number 2 against the number 15, Russell Sherwetnik, Granby, Quebec against Mississauga, Ontario. It's win or go home at this stage of the TSN Classic Bowl Championship. David Samar, Russell Sherwetnik looking to advance to play for the second rung on our 5-person championship ladder.
Get lucky.
Get lucky? Not quite. But maybe better than he even expected.
Yeah, that's not so bad, though, because you don't have the bedpost standing up looking at you. Big split. It's just the 6-pin. That ball yanked. Immediately, he knows it's going left out of his hand, and that's why he yelled, hey, get lucky. Leaves himself with an easy single-pin spare.
And manages to get it. So a mark in every frame so far for Russell Sherwetnik. Couple of strikes, couple of spares. An opportunity for David Samar with a spare up in 3 to get some pin count back here.
Dig those fingers into those finger inserts.
Come on.
Go. Break as well as a 10 goes over.
I look for David to take a big giant step to the left on the approach with his feet the next time he steps up to throw a strike ball and try to give away the pocket just a little bit more, give it a little bit more room to the right.
Still not very happy though, huh? Just not comfortable. Or I mean, he's got marks. He had the strike, got the break on the crossover Brooklyn strike to start with 3 spares. He just doesn't look comfortable at the moment.
Ball change. Here's the adjustment. And you're right, he doesn't like the look that he had with the other bowling ball. And that was a huge break, tripping out the 3-pin late. So he's going through all of the adjustments right now. He's running everything through his mind. All right, what do I have to do to get on track, get my ball into the pocket? He makes a ball change, goes to a ball that's a little less aggressive, and almost spells huge disaster for him. Only leaves himself at the 4-7. So right now he's running all the calculations through his head.
Oh, gee. Oh, dear. An open in 5. A big miss for David Samar, second seed coming in, and a great opportunity now for number 15 seed Russell Sherwetnik. Boy, he'll If he can jump all over this. Has a spare up in 4. What can he do with it? What's he going to do? Jump all over it? Yeah, and put 2 feet on him.
What does that, kick them when they're down? Kind
Absolutely.
The unusual roll, you see it's got a lot of axis rotation, but that axis tilt is in a unique position. It's a lot of spin going down the lane, and what that does is it keeps the pins low and on the deck.
Let's do it again.
24-pin lead.
Yeah.
Looking to increase it to 34 with a strike here.
Yeah, let's do it again. You got him down, and let's kick him.
You know, really, Vic, this has been the tale of 2 rounds. In round 1, we saw a huge advantage for the power players. Remember that Russell Serwetnik's score in round 1 was 179.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now he's going at a 2-team pace, and if he strikes out, he could shoot 268. He's the straighter of the 2 players. David Samard, the number 2 seed, qualified with 220 plus.
No.
All right, well, let's go back. Last week, we saw Ryan Seton win. As you suggest, the straighter ball. Here, Serwetnik, straighter ball, straighter shooter. Is that to now we're going to handicap this field at this point in time? That's what you're looking for?
That's exactly what I'm looking for based on the last 2 weeks. Remember, the number 1 seed went down. He hooks it, right?
Right.
Sean Patterson. The number 2 seed, David Samar, losing big here after 6 frames. He hooks it.
Mm-hmm.
Both players losing to players that throw the ball much straighter.
Now, is there anything these players like Samar can do? Do they have to alter the game, or is there nothing they can do at this point? They're just caught between a rock and a hard place.
They have to make big adjustments. I think the move. See, now what he did there was he moved right and tried to go straighter, tried to back his hand out of it a little bit, but his rev rate is still too high to keep that shot on line. It's one of 2 moves. It's either this one here, where he moves right and tries to back his hand out, or he's got to jump 2 arrows to the left and try to open up the entire lane.
Well, that's 3 straight opens now for David Samar. Just something you wouldn't expect from a bowler of his quality, caliber. Sits at 101. And Russell Serwetnik, 15th seed coming in, barely got into this qualification round. Got in through having one of the 4 high non-winner scores, 179. In fact, he was tied with Robert Brace, who we saw last week. And he has a chance here to be giant
really
killer. And he just throws it by the head pin.
Thank you.
Well, he was looking to take a 67-pin lead with a strike in the 7th. Instead, he whiffs the head pin. He's still going at a 215 pace if he converts the 128. The spare here to maintain a 54-pin lead.
And right through. Boy, that was pretty, because he just drove it right through at the 8.
Yeah, drove the 2-pin back into the 8-pin. It's exactly the way you draw it up. And this to stay clean in this game. Nicely done.
Bang. He's had a mark in every frame. Couple of strikes, couple of spares, couple of strikes, a spare.
better.
What you got now? What you got now?
Okay.
Just a little nudge.
But that's
Little rub, and it didn't go the 10.
that's all he really needs to do at this point, is to keep the ball in play and online to the pocket and make your spares.
No.
I said, and make your spares.
Yeah.
That puts him back at 203. David Samar can strike out for 191, although a pretty tall task. Seeing how David has not yet thrown a strike where the ball entered the 1-3 pocket, he does have the Brooklyn strike in the first.
That's better.
See, and that looked to me like he jumped a little bit farther left on the lane and tried to open up that angle a bit more.
It's also like he's gotten a little bit angry, too.
Well, he's madder than a mosquito in a mannequin factory right now, I can tell you that. 3 opens in a row.
Not getting a lot of blood from those mannequins, are you?
That's why they're mad.
Okay, that's what I figured. Just not there. Just not there.
Not enough angle.
Yeah.
It's almost like in his mind, if he gives it too much angle, he's afraid it's not going to get back. So as soon as that angle goes up the lane or more with the boards just a little bit, it doesn't lay off. It goes right through the nose.
Nice cover for Samar. And what a game for Russell Serwetnik. Builds it up enough pin count, takes advantage of a David Samar who just really never seemed comfortable. He'll leave the 10. And for the second straight week, we're going to see the top seed of the show go out. Last week it was, of course, number 1 Sean Patterson. He bowled a 173.
Attaboy.
That's better. And now David Samar, seeded number 2, coming in, about to go out.
Yeah, and the best David can shoot if he strikes out is 171. So again, you drop that comparison between the power players and the straight players. In back-to-back weeks thus far, the power players are getting run over.
Serwetnik is a sales manager for Colgate-Palmolive.
They make shaving cream, don't they?
I think so.
Maybe I'll talk to Russell after this game and see if I can score some free stuff for us.
Yeah, of course. Sure, he'll be able to come up with a few things.
Maybe some toothpaste.
Never know.
Well, Russell did what he needed to do, especially when his opponent couldn't string strikes together. He keeps the ball in play, manages to bowl a small 200 game, but he's going to win by over 40.
Gee, that's nice. I mean, he just covered everything. One open frame for Russell Serwetnik. And that came in the 8th for a 203.